We're kicking off Women's History Month with Dr. Michele Reed.
And we're updating you on the asteroid headed towards Earth, as well as all of the planetary alignments. Welcome back to Long Island Tea, where we spill the tea on everything Long Island. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Sharon. Welcome back.
Thank you. And our studio is filled today with so much goodness.
So much sweetness.
So much sweetness. Exactly. We have our favorite friend, Dr. Michele Reed, otherwise known as the FitDoc, with us today. And her husband Scott's in the studio too.
It's so fun.
We're like, join us, get in here with us. They're the dynamic duo. But she doesn't believe me that I've been saying, like, I miss her so much. I'm talking about you like you're not here, Dr. Reed.
Well, you don't call.
I felt that you missed me, so that's why I decided to come for a visit on this rainy day.
I
love
know.
it. I love it.
Your beautiful smile and that infectious laugh. I shouldn't use the word infectious with the doctor in the house, but
COVID is still around.
I know.
Yeah.
And the flu. I know. So we're going to talk all things health, wellness, what's happening on Long Island with Dr. Reed, who's just, again, been with us since the very beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
And is also our official health and wellness ambassador for Discover Long Island.
I believe she was our very first guest, wasn't she? Or
no, but she was because we had that Ernie from the, I think.
Yes. Okay.
But definitely one of our first guests and has been with us on this entire journey as our health and wellness ambassador. I mean, we have evolved in many ways together, the FitDoc. So we're going to talk about, I guess first, I'm going to ask you ladies, how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, whatever. I'm just,
same.
well, do you guys know, how it is when you're going on vacation?
Well,
I'm going on vacation.
And you want the time to hurry up and speed up so you can be there.
I'm already mentally
checked out.
Yeah. Well, I can't check out, but
leading up, I feel like it's so
horrible.
long.
It's torture.
so long.
The week before and the week after when you get back, because then you're depressed and also you have to catch up on everything.
Yes.
That is so true.
The week you pay the price for vacation, but
I
that's
love that
where I'm at.
this morning. You're like, I did get the Wi-Fi package, but
Don't use it. Yeah, I'm going on a
100%.
cruise and I got the Wi-Fi package, of course, because I have to stay in touch. But I was like, also to the team, I'm like, make sure, just check with Sharon before you reach out.
Everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine.
Yeah, it'll all be here when I get back, hopefully. I mean, you never know this day and age.
Seriously.
Right? It's a crazy world we're living in.
It is.
I think, Dr. Reed, we have so much to talk to you about because it's like you've got to be needed more than ever by your patients and your community these days and by us. Me and Sharon.
So stressful.
I mean, we need you.
Yes, everyone is coming in very anxious, depressed, increased substance use, especially marijuana, vaping, alcohol, forgetting to take the medication, losing jobs, don't have enough money to buy medications. It's a hot mess.
It's a weird time. So, two things I want to just reheat from last week that we were talking about, Dr. Reed. One was Michael confirmed for us last week that Mercury was in retrograde. Okay. It's over now. Yeah. Today starts the new moon.
Okay.
But here's the dealio, ladies. Okay. And you need to be prepared for this, Dr. Reed. You don't follow the moon.
Oh, no, I do.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Whenever anything goes wonky in the office, we're like, can someone look up and just check to see where Mercury is?
Where are
so
we?
Get this. Yesterday, when I was trying to explain Mercury retrograde to somebody, and I was going to send him a TikTok about it, I get on TikTok and I'm looking at Mercury. So what TikTok told me, and I need the deep dive more into this, but apparently the new moon starts today is what it told me. But then in March and April, something is happening and 6 planets are aligning for the first time since like 1861, and it is going to be total chaos.
Oh God.
They're like, things won't look the same for any of us by the summer.
So do you know what days that will be?
They just said March, April. We got to look at TikTok and find out. Are we gonna? You're not doing dry. What month are we in? Can we have wine after this? And can we go into a TikTok spiral about this crazy planetary alignment that is going to disrupt everything?
Well, the other day I was out driving and I was like, "What is that star next to the moon?"
What was it?
It was Venus.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, they're lining up, and it's. Well, I'll show you, ladies, afterwards. But I want our hot teas to be prepared that March and April. buckle
Madness.
up. And we're going to talk to Dr. Reed about her practice, and you can call Dr. Reed. I'm going to call Dr. Reed. I mean, I was going to text you and be like, I need to come in and see you.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime.
The telehealth. I'm over it. I need to
Physically
come in.
go. Yeah.
I need to come.
But you know, with the concierge service, depending where you are, it can come to where you are. And it would have been nice for me to go on the cruise with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
should have really
safe
thought about
you
this.
would be.
Oh my God, that is true. That's amazing. So did you hear that, Hotties? You can invite Dr. Reed on your vacation.
That's amazing.
That's right.
I feel like I'll be like a real housewife. The doctors come to me. I was just watching The Housewives, and she had her doctor come to her. I was
my
like,
gosh,
what?
that's
right.
crazy.
That's concierge. Okay, well, we're going to talk about all those things because I think people really, I mean, we're joking about it, but people are going to need
Yes.
all of their resources, health and wellness resources, more and more, and not just medical for prescriptions, but the holistic kind of things that you are now offering. And I'm excited for us to deep dive into that.
Yes.
Also wanted to give you an update on last time we were talking about the asteroid that was for sure going to hit
Yes.
Earth. It's not going to hit anymore, they're saying.
It changed course.
Yeah. Last week, they're like, it was supposed to hit Earth in 2032, and now apparently we're good.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that's a relief or not, because I
Right.
was kind of like, listen,
We're ready.
at this
Beam me
point,
up, Scotty.
at this point, at least we all go together,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Crack
So,
open a bottle of wine from
Right.
Long Island.
what was it like? Don't Look Up. Remember that
Yes.
show,
Oh,
movie?
yes.
Don't Look
Movie.
Up. Like, just
was so
everyone
good.
just get a bottle of wine and let's just, go out with a bang, literally. I know. Anyway, so I just wanted to update you on that. Before, and we'll get into I want to get a catch up from Dr. Reed, but also it's Women's Month right now,
Yes.
Women's History Month,
Yes.
and we are kicking it off in an incredible way with the Girl Scouts of America
I love this.
and the Girl
We're-
Scouts of Suffolk County.
If you are watching on YouTube, when I was talking about the sweetness, I was not only talking about Dr. Reed and her husband, but then we are loaded with cookies here. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, celebrating the start of Women's History Month with our friends at Girl Scouts of Suffolk County. When girls participate in the Girl Scout Cookie Program, the largest entrepreneurial program in the world, they acquire a host of invaluable entrepreneurial skills, including goal setting, money management, decision making, people skills, and business ethics. Whether visiting an animal shelter, camping, hosting a dance off, or filming a movie, they're learning to take risks, trust their gut, and team up with others for good. Girl Scout cookies are an important building block for Girl Scouts to follow their dreams. Along with important skills like confidence and relationship building, each package you buy funds their next ambition. Don't miss their International Women Day event happening on Saturday, March 8th, and learn more about how you can find cookies by checking out their online cookie finder at gssc.us or text cookies to 59618.
Oh my God, that's so cool. You can text
Amazing.
cookies to, what is it? You text cookies to
59618.
That's amazing.
Times have really changed.
I know.
Right? Whatever happened to the days of
Don't
them
have to
knocking
go
on the
door-
door?
that's
That's not safe anymore.
door to
That's
door.
not, they're just
True.
in my grocery store. I told you I've been wanting to buy them, but I've been in cruise mode, so
Yeah.
I've been resisting. But not anymore. I'm eating my favorite ones, and I want to hear your favorite ones. Mine's the toffee. It's like a newer flavor. I love toffee.
Is it like
It's like a shortbread
Yes.
cookie, but with toffee in it.
Okay.
I love it. I'm
Dr.
not,
Reed and-
I'm not a big sweet person.
yeah?
So I like the shortbread with just little pieces, a little.
It's like a little buttery cooker.
What's your favorite?
Samoas. I love Samoas. The chocolate and the
And
the
same,
coconut.
you said Samoa's too,
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Reed.
Mix the two C's together.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a classic combination. I love it.
beautiful.
Do you put the Thin Mints in the freezer?
I don't like Thin Mints.
Me either.
What?
Samoas are my favorite.
Yeah.
Samoas. I love Thin Mints, but here's the thing: you got to put them in the freezer. Maybe that was an Arizona trick that I did too, but like everything tastes better when it comes out of the
cold.
freezer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's so many great flavors, and we want to thank the Girl Scouts of Suffolk County for being our taste of Long Island today.
Yes, and if you or anybody wants to be a taste of Long Island, reach out to Spill the Tea at discoverlongisland.com.
Were you a Girl Scout?
No, Pearl was for a little while.
I was a brownie and a Girl Scout. How about you, Dr. Reed?
I was in 4-H.
Oh, of course you were. What'd you grow? Could you grow stuff?
Grow.
What
we,
did 4-H
we
do?
sewed.
Oh.
Oh, that's so
Do
amazing.
you know how to sew? Because I have a dress that the button is like dangling.
Well,
I don't know what
how
to do with it.
sew. I actually had a sewing machine, my own personal sewing machine. But when my parents moved, so did the sewing machine.
So did the sewing
And not with them, somebody else.
Oh,
We bought our daughter Penelope a sewing machine a few years ago in hopes that she would want to sew and fix things around for us, and she did not.
She didn't like it.
She was like, this is random. We're like, you like to create things.
Yeah,
How about
you're
you
creative.
learn to sew? She was like, no.
That's funny.
Okay, Dr. Reed, welcome to Long Island Tea. We've missed you.
I've missed both of you.
Oh,
You're looking all official in your beautiful white lab coat and your stethoscope. You need to take our heart palpitations later. I'm sure it's like crazy. So what's been new with you? Do you want to tell us about your new practice?
So basically, we've always had a Long Island presence. So what I decided to do was to consolidate Queens with Long Island. So everything is now in one centralized spot in Mineola, 200 Old Country Road, Suite 140, Mineola, New York. And I love it because it's a larger size office and everything is sort of like in a circle. And with the other services on the outside. So I have a acupuncturist that's there. We have a hearing room with an audiologist. We have a dietitian, and I'm working on bringing in a massage therapist and eventually also doing some personal training. We have like an area where we can do some personal training. Not everyone knows how to use a dumbbell or a kettlebell. So that's one of the things that we're going to eventually do and go back to having more seminars because we haven't done those in a bit.
amazing.
I know.
Because the focus was getting the
Getting that
office
done.
open.
Yeah, because last time you were here, we were talking about it, and and you were like in the very beginning stages.
Oh, yes.
So it's finally complete.
We
That's
are
amazing.
finally there. Now
Congratulations.
We're saying, like, if you don't like anything that's not there on the wall, feel free to decorate.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And I love the circle because, there is something about energy and feng shui and all of the things. And I love that you're a very well-respected medical practitioner with a long history of servicing a variety of medical patients and groups, but you also embrace that whole body holistic approach, which is what your book FitDoc is all about.
Yes.
And it's tell me about the mental health, physical, sexual health, all of it.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, sexually. And the other component is financially.
Yes.
Because if you're not healthy, you can't go in and go to work and be the person that you're supposed to be to show up to bring home, quote unquote, the money for the family.
I love the financial part because it's becoming so increasingly important as financial independence is actual independence, especially for women.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you are not financially independent, you're not really independent.
Right.
Let's be honest about that.
Yes. And one of the things that I've done too is we've talked about estate planning because no one really wants to talk about what's going to happen when they're no longer around. How will my family be taken care of? What do I do with the house? So what I've done is there's a firm that I'm working with where we come in and they've been on my podcast where we've talked about estate planning because that's key.
It's so important.
And everyone thinks like, oh, doctors know everything. So, I mean, I have patients that come to me like, do you know a good attorney, someone who can help me with my estate? And it's good to know people because that's something that is very key. And that's one less stress to worry about because I'm finding out now there's been a sort of a rough patch because in the last 2 months, I've had 6 good friends who've lost their fathers. Their fathers have transitioned. And, just going through that, being in the hospital or being on the phone, just making sure that everything is taken care of, it's a lot. And what I also want to do is make sure that I educate everyone as to how to advocate for yourself or your loved one when you're at the doctor's office, but also when you're in the hospital. Because a lot of times doctors will overtalk you, talk fast, have the hand on the doorknob going out the door. Is there anything else? And before you can say what your question is, they're gone. So I've sort of been trying to educate people as to have a list of questions, make sure that somebody else is in the room with you, and take notes. Because it's very important because that information that you learn, you're going to have to share it with another family member or even whoever is the patient because not everyone is in that state of mind where they're open to what is being said.
Right. And sometimes you're in shock or it's hard to absorb what's even being said to you. And you think you're hearing, but you're not listening or absorbing. So that's great feedback. And like what you're saying, all of these things play into a whole optimal life experience. So, because if any of those things are out of whack, then it compounds, right? Stress,
snowball.
and then it becomes physical, mental, all those things.
Yes, because right now we're seeing a lot of people with panic attacks. And they're assuming it's because their blood pressure is elevated, but their blood pressure is elevated because they're stressed, which is leading to the panic attack and the palpitations. And they're showing up in the emergency room or in the doctor's office. And sometimes we all need somebody to talk to, not necessarily our spouses, not necessarily our friends, but someone who's trained in listening and guiding us through whatever is going on with us mentally.
I love that. So if you're any one of those businesses and you want to align with Dr. Reed, or if you want to reach out to you for services, and I want to ask a little bit more details about your services, but how can people reach you or find you?
So the best way to reach us is online, and you can go directly to FitDoc Michele Reed if it's something that you want to see happen in the practice. And my email is Dr. Michele with one L. So Dr. Michele, one L, at fitdoc.com.
Okay. Perfect. And you're on social. I follow you on Instagram.
Yes.
People can follow you.
Instagram.
And you're the Fit Doc?
FitDoc Michele Reed.
I don't even know. You just pop up in my feed.
Yeah, I love it.
You're just on my For You page.
Yes, always out there walking. And
yeah. So,
awesome.
but real quick, back to your practice real quick, just because I want to make sure people understand. You still offer traditional doctoral services.
Traditional. If you come in and you have high blood pressure or diabetes, we're still going to treat you.
Yeah, or the flu or whatever people come in with.
Yes. But sometimes you need a little extra something. So we can give you acupuncture. So the acupuncture can help to boost you. One lady came in the other day and she was having pain in her foot. The acupuncturist can do like a medical massage on you. He can actually do traditional acupuncture. He even does like this service that I like where he will do electrodes in your ear and hit the spot that coincides with whatever pain you're having in your body.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Yep.
And then you have concierge services. What about that? How does that work?
So concierge services is that you would only see me and you would have a certain time, whatever time you want to come in, of course, during the day, not at like 11 o'clock, hey,
Right.
But you will have access to me after hours where there's a phone number you call directly, you speak to me, and then say, for instance, you're on the cruise that you did not take me to.
No.
And you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, Dr. Reed, my eye is red. We could do a quick, because now you have the Wi-Fi package.
Right, yes.
We'll do a quick video call and I could treat you.
That's awesome. And so that works like a monthly payment, like a consistent monthly.
And annually.
Okay, awesome.
And you were also saying you can go to,
You can actually come into the office too.
and were you going to them or was that?
Well, depending on where you are, I
Okay.
can come to you.
Yeah. that's
I've gone
interesting.
as far as New Jersey for
Oh
treatment.
my God. I said, if you're a real housewife, Dr. Reed can come to you for a price, Ugarte, as they said in Casablanca, for a price. But listen, what better service to have? I mean, that is really a luxury service, and that is an incredible opportunity for a lot of people to have access to that, because it is not easy oftentimes to get that appointment, or if you don't know if you need an appointment, just having somebody that's just a resource and all those things. I love it. I'm so you've been planning this. I mean, we've known each other for years now, and you've been talking about this forever. It's wonderful to see your dream come to life.
Yes. And I was going to say one other aspect that I do like is that we have a hearing room that an audiologist built out. She has her own separate practice, but she's in the practice. It's called Hear to Help. Hear as in
that's great.
HEAR to help. And I like the fact because now we're seeing an increase in dementia.
Wow.
And one of the things that we're finding out is if you can't hear, that increase the likelihood of you isolating yourself. And when you isolate, you're not around anyone. And that leads to loneliness, that leads to anxiety, that leads to depression. And we're seeing increased dementia in those who have hearing losses that have not been treated.
Wow.
That is, I just love your practice and what you do so much. You're such a, like I said, even for me personally, professionally, we're all friends,
Right.
but personally, you and Scott, we've been to the house, we hang out, not enough. But now that we're going to be empty nesters, like you're empty nesters.
Oh, so wait, now I'm going to see you?
Yeah. I know. I keep promising. And then I'm like, don't leave the house. But seriously, I'm like, I'm almost there. How are your sons doing? They're at college?
They are doing quite well. They're both on the dean's list.
Oh my gosh.
Really exciting times.
Oh,
I keep trying to tell Sharon, and it's hard to imagine when your kids are little, right? But then all of a sudden you go from all of this chaos of senior year and sports and college tours, and it's so much, you're so busy and everything's, all these parties and prom. And then it's like, poof, they're gone.
I know.
And it's quiet and you're like, it's weird.
But I was thinking, because the first time when they went for freshman year, we're there, like everyone's there. The in-laws are there, packing them up and moving them in. But for second year, we didn't go. We're like, okay, you got everything.
You good?
Hit the plane. And the other one's like, you drive down.
Aw.
Yeah. So we don't even know what their rooms look like this year.
Oh my gosh. It gets more and more distant.
It's so crazy.
No, but they still come home.
They do?
And they call.
Okay. That they
And
call
they
it good
text.
boys. You
Of
said they
course.
call. They call.
They call.
Yeah. They'll
So
be
cute.
21 in April.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It goes so I
Next
mean, it's so
month.
cliche, but it goes so fast, right?
Yes.
I was just literally before you got here telling Sharon that it's going to be, because they're both going to be at Arizona State, my girls. And I'm going to be like, what are you guys doing out there in Arizona?
How's the weather?
What's going on?
Grandpa's going to be over there in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because he was at Costco with him yesterday. Like he's the
They hang
Costco.
out. I love it.
He's the Costco plug.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Right? That's great.
So, but anyway, enjoy it while it lasts, right? In all of these stages of life. And, and is that one of your key points that you tell people to focus on priorities and people and family during this time?
Yes, especially wherever you are, appreciate that moment. For me, one of my friend's fathers transitioned, and this past weekend I was in Orlando, and I was like, you know what? The A-type side of me was like, take the laptop. And the B-type was like, heck no.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And that's exactly what I did. Just be in the moment and enjoy.
And try to and remember, what's important in life, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in things that, your job and your finances and what's happening in the world. And I think at the end of the day, if that asteroid's coming,
It's going to get us.
it's gonna be you and your loved ones sitting around that kitchen table at the end holding hands. You know what I
waiting.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's important always.
Yes.
And before you transition, that's what you're gonna want is your family
Your
around
family
you
around
and
you.
and your friends and your community. You've also always been really great about community, Dr. Reed. Do you have any recommendations for people about making sure they're building, supporting their community and being tapped into their community and how to do that?
Oh, most definitely. That's interesting you said that. So I signed up to be a American Academy of Family Physicians advocacy ambassador.
Ooh.
Wow.
So with that, we're learning additional tools to go to our legislators, state and nationally, as to these are key issues that are going on in our community, and also talking to other doctors to encourage other doctors to get involved. Because I mean, growing up, we were from the age of like 4 or 5 years old, we're going with my mom handing out literature.
Yeah.
And, it has to continue. It's not the same as what my mom did, but this is my way of giving back. So really, if there's a concern, something that you don't like that's going on in your community, speak to your local legislator.
Oh, but you are also, what I love about you is you're active in your sorority. And I know that
That's
because I
amazing.
follow her. I told her, she was like, I haven't heard from you. I'm like, girl, I heart and fire everything you do on social media. If you look at doctors, I'm like, that is my girl.
Yes,
Okay. I'm like,
yes.
love you. You're amazing. And that's important, right? Those kinds of, those tribes.
Yes, it's very important to find, organizations that you can align whatever your principles are with. And it's also a community, and it develops into a friendship and a sistership, which I think is very key,
Yeah.
for life. Because when you feel loved, you're more likely to be happy. And when you give love to others, you're more likely to inspire others to do the same. So my office, every morning, we have what we call a huddle. And
I love this.
yeah, so we talk about what patients are coming in, what might be the problem patient.
And they're like, obviously Kristen's coming in today.
Yes. But we started off with January is having a word of the day.
Oh.
And yesterday,
Well, you have a word of the year. You always have a word of the year.
Yeah, I do. But we do word of a day now.
Now I love that.
And so one day it was awareness. And they said not only being aware of what's going on in the office, but being aware and what's going on with a patient that they might not be saying. Looking at the body language.
Wow.
Listening to the tone of their voice.
I think that's so interesting because I do it myself when I go to my doctor. Or like, not that I'm holding back, but I'm like wanting them to tell me what's wrong and I don't want to diagnose myself or anything, but like they're like asking me, what is this happening? But I think like it's very important as a doctor, that's something you pay attention to because they're trying to tell you something.
Yes. Yes. And just watching those like things that they're not saying. That's one of the things I've learned to pick up on. And plus, being a Taurus, we already know what you're thinking before you actually even say it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You ladies. I know. I'm not a Taurus. I'm a Cancer. As you know, I'm very emotional over here. I'm at the whims of the tides and the moons. Okay. But no, it's true because I remember, there's a couple of things, and I'm going to come see you at your office. And we did an interview recently with Taylor Dane, which, Taylor Dane, right? She's awesome and I love her, but she had colon cancer in 2021. And at like young, she was 52, right, when she's diagnosed, and she's currently cancer free. But I told her, I was like, oh my God, every time I see Dr. Reed, she writes me a script. A year goes by. I don't do anything with it. So I'm like, no, but I was talking to Taylor Dane, and she's like, you don't delay these things. Don't be those people like, I don't want to know what's going on. I'd rather not know. I don't want to take the time, but it is time consuming. You got the dentist, and you got the hairstylist, and you got the dermatologist, and you've got, the OBGYN, and you've got the mammograms. It is time consuming. You have to carve out the time to take care of yourself.
And I think that's very important too, because that's something you need somebody to drive you to. So that's a lot of reason why you put it off, I think.
Wow.
Well, for any price, we can incorporate that into our concierge service.
You can do it there on site at your place?
No.
Oh.
The driver.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what?
We like to eliminate all excuses.
Yeah.
All excuses.
You'll even drive people to and from their appointments?
We will do whatever we have to do to make sure you do what you have to do.
Wow, that's
amazing.
It does, it's not worth your health. I mean, right now we are seeing an increase in young women under the age of 35 with breast cancer.
Yeah, I read that. That's so crazy.
What do you think it is? Chemicals?
It's probably the environment, the food that we eat, the stress that's in life.
Preservatives, something like that?
Yes. Also, the increase of smoking, not only cigarettes, but marijuana, the vaping.
Dry shampoo. They say dry shampoo?
No, I use dry shampoo like every day.
No, you haven't read that?
No.
Sharon, dry shampoo for
like
sure.
I literally go through a bottle of dry shampoo.
Sharon, Dr. Reed, tell Sharon to stop it.
She's not my patient.
Oh my gosh.
Sharon, cut her a check real quick. Get on that concierge service right now. Okay, we've got some fun stuff to talk about Long Island. You know what? One of the things for our new listeners that haven't been following our relationship and our time with Dr. Reed over the years, what really made us fall in love with you, Dr. Reed, is we heard you on a webinar for Newsday during COVID, and it was, yes, your medical advice, yes, your sound judgment, but really it was how much you love Long Island. And you're a Long Island girl, and you just love living here. You get out and about, you make the outdoors your gym and your I don't know, health awareness or health
fitness
Yeah,
activity.
what am I trying to say here? Anyway, so what's your favorite place to go in Long Island? And then we're going to talk about some fun Long Island stuff.
I have a couple of places.
Okay.
I love Hempstead Lake State Park only because I grew up in that neighborhood, and then the sheer fact as how it has expanded, it is beautiful there. And of course, my brother's company was in charge of the whole overseeing the project.
Of course.
That's a plug there. But I also love going to Long Beach.
I know. You're there.
We
You're
love the
always at Long
boardwalk.
Beach.
Yeah.
I went there the other day. It was 29 degrees. I bundled up. I did 7 miles on the Broadwalk.
That's awesome.
It was beautiful.
There's something about that ocean breeze, that ocean air, right? Being outdoors.
And being by the water
Yeah.
just helps to calm and to settle you.
Yeah, you're always at Long Beach. If you're on Long Beach, just look out for Dr. Reed.
Yeah,
You'll see her.
she'll be there.
You might not
She's
recognize
running-
me
Yeah.
all bundled up.
Yeah.
But you also have a following that comes with you. You have a group that you go with. That's great.
Yes. But that day I went by myself because they would have been like, it's 7 miles.
Yeah. What do you mean?
That's what I would have said. And they're like, no, I'll meet you back here at the end.
I know they'll be at the hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
We're gonna go get a cocktail or some coffee or
That's
something
so
like
funny.
that. But I love your dedication to that and your love for Long Island. And so it's also Women's History Month.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about a Long Island woman.
Yes, Women's History Month on Long Island. Fun fact this week, because we will bring you a fun fact every week on the pod. Long Island has been home to numerous remarkable women who have significantly influenced its history. Today we're highlighting Edna Buckman Kearns from 1882 to 1934. A prominent suffragist, Kearns was instrumental in the women's suffrage movement on Long Island. She led the suffrage campaign in Nassau and Suffolk counties and was known for her activism and leadership.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I did not know that, but the women's suffrage movement has a huge history in New York State in general, and it was a lot of the New York women that paved the way for us to have the rights that we have today, and we owe them a lot.
Yes.
And we have to make sure we stay involved so that way we can maintain those rights too.
Exactly, and I was going to tell you this one, Sharon. This is what I wanted to tell you about Dr. Reed too. Speaking of women who have made a notable difference.
Oh, she is being honored, Dr. Reed, being honored at the 2025 Lifting As We Climb benefit for girls on March 14th at Oheka Castle.
The Oheka Castle. That's how you know it's
Yes.
legit.
When
That's
your
honestly
event is at Oheka
I've never been
Castle.
honored for anything at Oheka Castle.
Right?
I'll tell you that. And no, ma'am.
Wait, that was my second time being honored there.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
You're like a resident there now.
Yeah, she lives there.
Do you know what you're gonna wear?
No. And you know
let's
how
go
I
shopping.
hate shopping.
Let's go shopping.
You hate shopping?
Oh, I hate
You should go shopping in my
Why?
closet. I have a lot of dresses.
I love
Come
shopping.
over. I
We'll
told
have
Sharon, I'm
wine,
like,
go
I need friends.
shopping.
You're going away.
Well, when is it? Oh, it's on the 14th?
It's March 14th, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you still don't have anything to
No.
wear, Dr. Reed?
I've just been so busy working.
I know.
Yeah, well, we do that, but don't forget, you have to carve out time for you
Prioritize
too.
yourself.
Yeah. That's why I'm here with my buddies.
I know.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing. And it's wonderful to celebrate the notable and incredible women in our community, and you are one of them. We also have a new blog out right now on discoverlongisland.com, which is Long Island's influence on entertainment and history. Talks about our music legacy, like we always talk about Mariah Carey, Billy Joel. We just talked about Taylor Dane, and so much more. And then there's like that new silent film. Did you read that article about that new silent film about Lincoln that they just found in Greenport?
No.
Yeah, it's like a 1915 silent film that they just like rediscovered in Greenport. So there's a cool, if you don't know about it, there's a cool thing in the blog about it. Did you know it's the 100th year of The Great Gatsby, the novel?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when you're at Oheka, you should be like blogging about that or posting because it's 100th year of Gatsby and it's a Gatsby era mansion.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot of good stuff in there about just the history of Long Island. There's a lot of film and entertainment history here. So if you wanted those tidbits, go to discoverlongisland.com.
Yes, and read our blog. Some fun things happening this weekend.
Yeah.
March 7th is Friday, the March 7th, building the ballot box for Long Island's democratic history at Long Island Museum of American Art, History, and Carriages in Stony Brook, and opening night of Frozen at the Gateway in Bellport. Some celebrity,
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Did you hear Gene
suddenly
Hackman passed away?
And his wife and his dog.
together.
Yeah,
What did they say happened?
They said no foul play, so I'm assuming like carbon monoxide.
Oh, that's so sad.
I just made that up. That is alleged. I
Right.
don't have any information on
alleged.
that. But he was at his house in Santa Fe, and it was him and his wife and his dog. So and they don't expect foul play. So I don't know what else it could be. Anyway, what were you going to say
Fun
about
fact is that he had started his career at the Gateways in Bellport.
Oh, I had no idea about that. That's funny because I wrote that down in my celebrity too. And I want to hear what Dr. Reed and Scott are doing this weekend too. But also, there's a couple of other things happening. This is cool. The Best of the Eagles.
I know.
At the Paramount in Huntington. I love the Eagles.
I love
Timeless,
the Eagles.
Timeless. And Chris DiStefano at the Stoller Center in Stony Brook. So really appreciate. There's a lot to do this weekend. It's supposed to. we're going to have a cold snap again,
For like a minute.
like 48 hours.
Yep.
Like the day I get on the cruise and sail away, so I'm going to be like bundled up. I'm going to be like, bye,
See ya.
cold spell.
You're leaving out of New York?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool? I love the New York sailings because then you sail right by the Statue of Liberty and the sunset of the city. It's really fun.
No,
How
it
long
is.
does it take to get to warm weather?
This I don't know.
All I want to know.
That's, I think
You know?
at least a day.
Okay.
Sharon, that's not right.
Sharon won't go on a cruise because she's scared.
I'm
Have you ever been on a-
petrified.
Did you hear my cruise story?
No.
I think it's when you had to save somebody every time, right? Every time you go on vacation, you have to save someone.
Oh, no. This lady actually had no pulse and no respiration.
Oh, my God.
7 days after I graduated
You're not helping.
from medical school.
Oh my gosh.
7 days,
7 days. 7 days.
and you revived her.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh
God!
my gosh.
Thank you.
That's
I
amazing.
should maybe bring you on the cruise. I'm thinking about it. You're not helping me though.
out-
Sharon won't go on a cruise.
Oh, I'm petrified. I'm
So,
petrified.
what are you guys doing this weekend? Anything fun?
Well, speaking about self-care, I do have an appointment for a mammo and a sonogram.
Oh, good for you.
Yep. Staying on top of my health.
Yep, that's important. Okay, good. Well, and like, did I tell you I have to? I want take backs on what I said about spring being dumb.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm into it now.
You ready for
I
it?
saw the sun,
Yeah. And it was like
and I was like,
a little
wow.
warm.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to wear my coat, and I'm like, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well,
Was
that's
that
the thing.
yesterday?
Yeah.
What, that it was warm?
Or a year ago?
No. Yeah.
Because
Like the
yesterday
last
was
couple
warm.
of days. Yeah.
was
And I
beautiful.
saw two little squirrels like frolicking in my yard. And I'm like, oh,
And
It's
hearing
spring.
the birds chirping, you're like, okay,
Yes.
here we are.
until the birds become like
Menace.
aggressive. But no, I'm excited for spring.
Yes.
I was saying spring was dumb, but it's not. I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's reawait. Although now I got to figure out what's going to happen in March and April with the planets.
This
but,
is scary though. Like I'm
Oh, yes.
because I feel like we've just been
it's not good
no.
what is happening. But we'll get through it. And they're saying it's a transformation, right? Which we
New
all talked
beginnings,
about. The
right.
year
Oh,
of the
yes.
snake. The year of the snake is shedding your skin and transforming, which is interesting that this is happening during the year of the
Yes.
snake for the first time in like since
Yeah.
1861.
I think I saw this. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we've gotten through most of our Long Island stuff. So can we get into some celebrity, ladies?
Let's do it.
Speaking of Women's Month, and I'm going to butcher the story, but did you guys watch the SAG Awards at all?
No.
No.
Jane Fonda got awarded for like the Lifetime Achievement Award.
And her speech was like
Her-
unbelievable.
Speech, you have to Google it, Dr. Reed. We were flipping around and I flipped on it and I was watching it and I was like, I just watched history. I just watched one of the most historic speeches because, Jane Fonda has always been an activist and outspoken
For
and
years.
politically.
For years.
And she said on an interview, she's like, listen, there was a long time where this town didn't like me. She was
Wow.
not a
How old is
welcomed
she?
person. I don't know. I knew this. Michael, we need to know how old. Alexa,
We need to bring Alexa over here.
how old is Jane Fonda? But her speech,
87 years old.
87.
Wow.
and by the way, she looked
She doesn't look 87.
No.
amazing. She looked so, I loved her dress, her hair, her makeup. She looked gorgeous. But her speech was very stern to the audience. She talked about like back in the olden days of Hollywood, like the McCarthyism and she's like, get ready. They've come for people before and like you need to be ready to stand up and speak out.
Wow.
It is, I was watching it in awe of her. And here she is doing it again at 87. She's got to be like Groundhog Day.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But how lucky are we to have such strong women and, at those, those pedestals?
What was the audience response?
I think everyone was jaw dropped. Everyone was shook. Now, I mean, really, I think people were like, whoa. I mean, she's an iconic person now that has sustained for so long. And that's really how you become iconic is you just survive, right?
Yeah.
You just sustain. And her message was really incredible.
Wow.
And I think people were a little bit shook by it.
Right.
But hopefully, like,
Shakes it up.
in a way to learn from people. Like that's the thing about, older and wiser.
Yes.
To learn the wisdom of people that have walked in your shoes.
Yes.
And that's what we need right now is wisdom.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And I was just like, I mean, I never knew much about Jane Fonda other than she's a great actress and her aerobicized or whatever.
Yep.
Like she's an amazing, she's one of the first fitness people, right? But that speech, if you have not seen it, Google it.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
Do you have any celebrity?
I was going to talk about Gene Hammond.
Oh, Gene Hammond. What?
I brought it up during the
There's that other poor girl just passed away. Michelle
Trachtenberg. Yeah. Same
she-
thing. She was found unresponsive.
They don't know. Yeah, she's
No
only
foul play.
39.
Yeah.
And I love her. And it was so funny. I'll show you the picture afterward. I saw one of her pictures. She looks like Tegan.
Oh,
She's got the dark hair and the blue eyes.
Wow.
And she had a ponytail. And I did a double take. She's like a doppelganger for Tegan.
Yeah.
But she was in Gossip Girl. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And one of my favorite movies, that's my teenager's favorite movies, Euro Trip.
Funny.
It's very inappropriate.
Oh.
But
Chris was saying that the young lady who just died, she had a liver transplant and just there were complications from that. That's how she was.
Liver transplant.
That's so sad.
Apparently, yeah.
it's so sad. I mean, she's beautiful girl. And I liked a lot of her shows. So that is just, again, as we've been saying this whole time, take care of yourself.
Yes.
And just more importantly, cherish every day. And prioritize things that matter, which are
prioritize the important
people
things
and yourself and happiness.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Dr. Reed?
That's right.
Okay. What else is going to talk about? Jane Fonda. Oh, so I was saying last week, Monica Lewinsky has a new podcast.
Monica. Wow. I haven't heard that name in a while.
know.
Yeah.
It's called Reclaiming. And so I listened to the first episode, and she's got a bunch of them that dropped. But then I think after she did a bunch of interviews, they realized she needed to tell her story first.
Wow. Okay.
And she was just on Alex Cooper.
Oh,
I was scrolling on TikTok, and I saw
That's awesome.
a call her daddy.
Yeah.
So she was on there too, promoting the podcast. It's such it's an interesting story
Yeah.
to tell in this day and age, right? It's you see it in a new lens. And again, as she said, as an older woman, she's like in her 50s now, I think, late 40s, early 50s. She's like, you look back at things that you thought you knew in your 20s,
Right.
things that you thought you understood or important. And she's like, it's just, you give yourself so much more grace looking at you in your 20s. But when you're in your 20s, you think, oh, I'm supposed to be an adult. I'm supposed to know what's
There's
happening.
So much pressure.
Really, this poor woman and what she went through she never married.
Wow.
Never had kids. And she's like, I'm watching the Today Show, years after. And they were like, can you imagine who would want to bring Monica Lewinsky home to meet their parents?
Wow.
And she's like, it's so hurtful. She couldn't get a job.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody wanted to date her. She was ostracized for years,
so
up
sad.
until fairly recently.
Right.
So, but I think the lesson is there, what I took from her story is even when you are in your darkest times and you think that there is no way out, you think it will never get better. It will never change. It will. And it can, and it does. And I think that's such an important lesson for people to remember, as we go through this, whatever planet lineup that we're about to experience. What do you say about that, Dr. Reed? Like people keeping going, and keeping a long-term perspective.
I think for me, a lot of it has to do with my faith. Sometimes when we have what we consider challenges, I try and see them as blessings because out of everything, there is something that I have to learn from.
Yeah.
And some people say, oh, do you regret that you did this or did that? And I was like, no, because everything has shaped me to be who I am and where I am right now.
And I just think, so many people, we all have moments of hopelessness, but it's not hopeless, right? And I think so many kids today, are making impulsive decisions that are, lifelong decisions.
Yeah. And it's funny. I was having this conversation the other day with somebody about that generation versus our generation and how we handle things. We kind of were taught to push things back or, and kind of swallow it, you know what I mean? And move on. And I think that there's this generation now has a hard time dealing,
Yeah. Well, and you know what Monica Lewinsky said, though, which was really interesting, is what our generation experienced. She's like, I'm sure you've all done that thing where you made a huge mistake in school or something and you walked into the classroom and, everybody knows. And you're like, oh my God, everybody knows I totally messed up or whatever. And I feel so ashamed and embarrassed. But today, everybody in the world knows because it's on social media. Everything is
Everywhere.
so amplified because of social media, and then it lives forever
Right.
That's true.
on social media.
Right.
So it's not just that it's the, learning coping skills, but it really is a different world.
Absolutely.
And I feel, so these kids, we got to support them
Yes.
and support each other and try to speak positively. Here's a positive thing to end on, and it's a Long Island thing. How are you feeling about Wegmans opening?
Well, the only time I would go to Wegmans is if I went to Easton, Pennsylvania to visit my brother and his family.
Have you ever been to Wegmans, Sharon?
No, and I don't understand.
Oh, well, let me tell you, I also I will not wait in line to go to the grocery store like that.
Oh,
Right.
no.
I won't,
Right.
not, that's it's crazy. I mean, people were waiting overnight to go to a grocery store and doesn't even sell wine.
It reminds me of like a Stu Leonard's, right?
But no, I will tell you,
No?
in preparation for Wegmans, once we heard it was coming, because it's right over near my house, it's in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
We were in the city one time. So Tegan and I went to Wegmans in New York City. We did like a walkthrough. No, it's magical. It
Okay.
is the Disney of grocery stores, right? Scott's nodding. What I love the most about it is the prepared foods and meal. It's beautiful. It is wonderful. And so in 6 months,
When
when the
When it
crowds
dies
have
down.
calmed
it
down,
dies down.
I will go there.
Okay.
And it's going to be amazing. But that is the biggest thing to happen to Long Island that I've seen in a long time was people are flipping out about this Wegmans grocery store.
Brianna went and did a
Yeah, Bree was there opening morning, and she almost
wow.
like people were fighting with her, because she's in line for like hours, and then some guy recognized her in line and was like, "Oh, I see you on News 12, Bree, and I love your videos." And he was so cute because he's like, "Your voice is so soothing," which is wonderful because she's been getting some feedback on that. And so she was like, "Oh, thank you," and she said, "Can you hold my plate? Can I just hold my place?" Because she wanted to step out of line and take a picture, like social media of the line. And then she stepped back in, and this lady started yelling at her, "You weren't in line." I'm like, "Can everybody?" And then she's like, "Thank God everybody stood up for her." Everybody's like, "She was."
Oh, my goodness.
Because Bree, she's
Yeah.
like, no, but like, people, calm down. It's a grocery store.
Right.
It is a
not
magical grocery store.
amusement park.
Only thing that would make it better is if it sold wine.
Maybe they'll do that eventually.
No, I'm like, Governor Hochul, if you're listening, she can make this happen.
She can make it happen.
Because this is how it is in other places. The grocery stores are like that, but they also have a beautiful wine section.
Yes.
That's like, remember I told Sharon, my grocery store in Scottsdale was like that. Valet parking.
Wow.
Oh, and they would wash your car. They had a car wash.
What?
You'd pay, obviously, but
Yeah.
you could have them wash your car while you're grocery shopping, and you go in, and there was a full wine bar. There was like TVs, little stools, like, and it was right with the cheese and charcuterie. So you could just have. That was my favorite place for happy hour. Was the grocery
Wow.
store. Favorite place to go to happy hour. I'm like, meet me at the grocery store.
So crazy.
It was
That's
amazing.
So crazy.
So listen, we can hope and dream.
Never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. Look, we never thought we'd have a Wegmans, and we do. So listen, just manifest it.
I love it.
Maybe that'll be part of the transformation after the planets align.
Yes.
Dr. Reed, we love you.
Yes, we love
Truly,
you.
in our hearts. Love Scott, you too.
Yes.
And we want to thank you for coming. And one more time, can you just tell people how to get a hold of you and to be part of your tribe?
Yes. So on social media, FitDoc Michele Reed. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok. That is on Facebook. And the website for the office is msfamilyhealthcare.com. That's msfamilyhealthcare.com. And phone number is 516-794-2200. And if you need to reach me directly, it is Dr. Michele with one L at fitdoc.com.
Wonderful. And if you want her book, The Fit Doc, which is incredible, read it. It's an easy read,
Yeah.
and it's got really great takeaway tangible tips. You can go to our Amazon page. Michael, what is our Amazon page?
Amazon.com/shop/Discover Long Island.
And it's right there on our book selection of
Of our favorite.
recommended
Thank
books.
you. I
We
feel
love
the
you.
love.
We love you.
Yes. Yes,
All right.
Dr.
Thank
Reed.
you. And let's make it sure it's not so long next time, okay?
Yes. most
And
definitely.
I'll be gone next week, but Sharon has a special guest, so make sure you
Yes.
tune in.
I'm excited.
See you next week.
See you next week.
The Long Island Tea Podcast is brought to you by Discover Long Island, thanks to our generous sponsor, Sands New York. Visit sandsnewyork.com for more information. For exclusive access to contests and promotions, follow Long Island Tea Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And for questions, comments, and collaborative inquiries, email spillthetea@discoverlongisland.com.